India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who is on a visit to Russia, met Russia's Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov in Moscow for a comprehensive and constructive discussion of the two nations' bilateral economic relations. Both the leaders appreciated the greater focus on exploring new opportunities and also noted the significant progress in trade, finance, connectivity, energy, civil aviation and nuclear domains. Both the leaders also witnessed signing of agreements on nuclear power and in areas of medicines, pharmaceutical substances and medical devices. Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will hold talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow on Wednesday. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also visited the Russian Industry and Trade Exhibition with DPM Denis Manturov. Minister highlighted it has an interesting exposition on Russia's contemporary capabilities, whose promise for greater collaboration between the two countries. All right, DD India's Meghna Dev is joining us to tell us more on this. Meghna, good morning. Third day of his visit to Russia, Dr. S. Jaishankar, he will meet his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow to discuss various bilateral and global matters. What more do we expect from this meet?
Yes, obviously, we definitely know that the Indian foreign minister has got engagements in Moscow, and then also he has got engagements in St. Petersburg during his about 5-day-long visit to Russia. He will be meeting the Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, and he will also be holding a meeting with him. There will definitely be talks on different aspects. So first, when we talk about, trade settlement in national currencies, that is something that may be on the agenda, because that is something both the countries are looking out for. Besides that, also when we actually see that there are diverse areas of cooperation, when we're talking about development of hydrocarbons in the Arctic shelf and Russian Far East. Besides that, we also talk about different sectors of cooperation in terms of energy. We talk about cooperation in terms of culture, trade, economy, and much more. So these subjects will definitely be on the agenda. Besides that, also, if we look at another perspective, there will be discussions on the situation in Ukraine, the situation in Afghanistan, and also the Israel-Hamas conflict. That would be something, because obviously it is one of the major agendas globally now. So that will definitely feature on what talks both the foreign ministers are going to have. Besides that, also there is another important aspect when we see that both the ministers might also talk about their cooperation in the UN, in the SCO, in the G20, as well as when we know that in the coming year Russia has got the presidency of the BRICS. It will be definitely important to also talk about the agenda of the BRICS, the priorities of the BRICS. So these are some of the important features and some of the important things that will be on the agenda: logistics, banking, trade in national currencies, as well as the situation of the political situation globally.
Right, Meghna, a lot on the agenda, but he has been interacting with leading representatives of the Russian strategic community. He also interacted with the Indian community yesterday and visited the Russian Industry and Trade Exhibition. Tell us, how do we see Dr. S. Jaishankar's visit to Russia as far as the bilateral relations between both the countries are concerned?
So, Abhishek, that's very important when we are talking about the relationship between India and Russia, because when we see that both the countries share a special and privileged strategic partnership, and that's what External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, in his address to the Indian community yesterday, also mentioned that this is a very important relationship. We both are major powers. Besides that, he also said a lot on the trade aspect. And when we actually see that this time around, it is expected, the trade between both the countries is expected to cross about $50 billion US, which will set another new milestone in the relationship between both the countries. Besides that, when we see that, in the trade aspect, we saw that he met Denis Manturov, and they saw the exhibition as well, where Russia has been displaying what it has done, its engineers have done in the space of the digital space, as well as what they have done in terms of and how far has Russia come in terms of domestic and the nuclear energy, domestic nuclear energy. We also did see that how External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar did mention to the community that how the relationship is going from strength to strength, and how Russia has been a time-tested partner. He's also, said a lot in terms of how India sees this relationship. And besides that, also when we saw the Intergovernmental Commission meeting that happened with Denis Manturov, there was a lot on the agenda, also in terms of logistics, also in terms of domestic nuclear energy, in terms of trade, commerce, economy. A lot was talked about in this Intergovernmental Commission meeting as well. So we are seeing that this visit is extremely important. We know last year also during the period of November, Dr. Jaishankar visited Russia, and this time around it's again happening after almost a year's gap, and this becomes extremely important because India this year did hold the presidency of the G20 as well, and there had been a lot of discussions on different aspects that also might have featured in the talk. Besides that, also today's meeting, as we were talking about, is extremely important with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and that is, and we will definitely be expecting a readout from either sides on the meeting, which will unfold today.
Right, Meghna. Thanks for the detailed information. We'll keep taking updates from you.